All right, well, welcome everybody, and thank you to those that are going to tune in and check out this Hatter Highlight. We're back after a little hiatus for winter break, but we're back resuming our Hatter Highlight series, and I am so excited to be joined by Daniella Hankey this morning from the class of 2017. Daniella, I will go ahead and let you introduce yourself to everybody very quick and just give a brief background of how you found Stetson and what you were involved in at Stetson while you were a student.
Absolutely. Well, first off, I want to say thank you so much for having me this morning. I'm honestly very excited to be spotlighted in this Hatter Highlight. Like you said, I am Daniella Hankey. I graduated in 2017. Go Hatters. And pretty much right now, I am a news anchor in Wilmington, North Carolina. Absolutely love what I do and being able to help serve the community as well. As for how I found Stetson, family is very close to me, and being from Orlando, Florida, Oviedo to be specific, I really wanted to stay close to family. So when I saw that DeLand was only 45 minutes away from family, I knew that was going to be my home. And once I visited the beautiful campus and the beautiful downtown area, I fell in love with it and knew this is going to be my home for the next 4 years and for a legacy as well, because once a Hatter, always a Hatter.
Absolutely, and I think that's definitely a great draw, the location for Stetson. And I kind of had the same story. I grew up 2 hours south of Stetson, so I came for a visit and realized for me it was just close enough to home, but far enough away to where the parents wouldn't be bothering me every
Right.
weekend here. But like you said, perfect location, and the campus is beautiful.
And I think that's the biggest thing that draws people, especially if any prospective students are watching, go visit the campus. People there are absolutely friendly. The atmosphere is amazing. Plus, it's pet friendly. What more could you ask for, right?
Right, exactly. And yes, one visit to campus, I would challenge anybody for one visit to campus. That would be the selling point. Just the beautiful campus, the buildings. It's incredible.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about for just a minute some things you were involved in as a student while you were on campus. Any clubs or organizations, and then what was your major and or minor if you had one?
Absolutely. I think I did pretty much everything that Stetson had to offer, and I'm not exaggerating, I promise. So I was pretty much involved. I was a sorority member of Zeta Tau Alpha, met a bunch of people there, and breast cancer is very near and dear to my heart. My aunt had it. So when that was their philanthropy, that was definitely something that really drove home. I was also a focus leader. So being able to show the campus off and being able to welcome new students was amazing time during my time at Stetson. I also did homecoming. That was another big thing that I loved doing. For 1 year, I was able to put on an event. Another one, I was able to help members on the homecoming committee. And then we started the Hatter News Network at Stetson during my time. And that's pretty much what made me fall in love with broadcasting and know I was going to continue this throughout my lifetime. And here I am, 3 states later. I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina as an evening news anchor at just the age of 26, which is amazing.
That's awesome. That is so cool. So I guess my next question would be, how do you think some of those experiences, especially with the Hatter News Network, kind of shaped you and gave you the tools you might have needed to get into this industry after college?
Absolutely. So the biggest thing was being able to present the Stetson community for Hatter News, because they never had it before we established it. So that was definitely one of the big things, is offering it to students and letting students know that this is available on campus for those who are interested. My major was communication and media studies. It doesn't mostly focus on the broadcasting aspect, but I knew from a young age in high school and then in college that this is what I wanted to do. So that was definitely one of the big things. And then also getting the news out into the community. I'll never forget when the Pulse shooting happened. We had just started Hatter News, and we actually went on location and met a wonderful couple who was actually building a memorial for the victims of the Pulse shooting. And right then and there, when I heard that story, I knew I wanted to be a news reporter, and I wanted to be a journalist to let the community know that things happen in our community. They might not be good or bad, but at the end of the day, we all come together and help out a cause.
Absolutely, and it's really fascinating to hear from your end, just those experiences as a student, getting to experience those things and getting out there like that, how that kind of shaped, what you were thinking as far as this is what I want to do, or this is the kind of impact we can have. And you might not think about that as, a regular citizen who turns on the 6 o'clock news every night. You might not think that, watching you, that's something that impacted you and got you to where you wanted to be right now.
Absolutely. And I think that's the great thing about Stetson too, is if you have an idea or a concept that you want to bring, present it to the board, because they're always welcome to ideas. And that's what we did. And look at it. We had a Stetson Network that went on YouTube, and we were able to found that as well.
And that's a great segue. So can you talk for just a minute about maybe how that Hatter News Network was established and how you all presented that to get it approved, or if there was some kind of approval process to get that ball rolling?
Absolutely. So it pretty much came from one person who had the idea and, of course, reached out to other people in the communications department. Now, I'm not sure how it was exactly set up to be exact, but I do know that she went before a board and kind of had to go through different steps to be able to get it implemented. Now, once she brought the idea and put it on Facebook, as well as reached out to the communications department, I knew right then and there that I wanted to join that network and become one of the news anchors and the lead news anchors to be able to get the news out. And one of my favorite experiences that I did as well when I was doing the Hatter News and we had it established was we sat in a classroom. We didn't have a studio. We had a black screen we put up. We had a little microphone, a little TV camera, but it was those memories and those laughters that we had that really shaped who we were as Hatter Network and what Hatter Network was going to be for years to come as well. And being a graduate and looking back at it now and seeing how it's grown, and not just television, but also they've had the newspaper and the different radio stations as well. It's just incredible to see, and it just puts a smile on my face, as you can tell right now.
Absolutely. And I think that's another great point too for any students who might tune in to watch this. And maybe, that area specifically is not your passion, but Stetson, there's opportunity for anything. If you come to Stetson and there's not a club or organization that already exists that you're passionate about, bring it up to somebody, get a group together. And, there are endless opportunities here to establish those groups and organizations and then grow them into, something bigger and successful, which is great. Another great thing about Stetson.
Absolutely. I can't talk so much about Stetson without going on and on, because it's just an amazing university. And I just love being a Hatter is all I have to say.
And so were there any, as you all kind of got this group going and this organization off and running, were there any staff or faculty, maybe advisors or anything that you had for this group that kind of helped you all as you built everything out?
Absolutely. There were definitely a bunch of the communication professors that helped out and saw us grow as well. At first, they were kind of like, we're not sure how this is going to go off, if you'll be able to get members. But once they were able to see that the Stetson community actually came together and there were people that were interested, it definitely made a difference. And they were able to help out and kind of push us and say, here's a hurricane that's coming towards Florida, or here's something happening. Why don't you go out and cover it? Or why don't you let the community know about it and know what's going on? And I actually found this out, but one of my sorority sisters who joined the Hatter Network, she actually went to my station in Texas before I left to come to Wilmington. And she said it was because of me why she got into the industry. And just hearing that puts a smile on your face and knows that you really made a difference when we started that Hatter Network program. And I continued to push her and said, just come to the meeting. Just come to the meeting. I promise it'll be fun. It really shows that it does go a long way.
Absolutely. And that point again of just getting yourself out there, getting involved and seeing what can happen. So let's transition a little bit. So you were a part of this group while you were a student, did some amazing work, got some great experience, and got to see some incredible things. Now take me through post-graduation. You've graduated from Stetson, you've got your degree, you've got this great experience. What happened next? What happened right after graduation?
Absolutely. So I was very fortunate before graduation to have been accepted and offered a position as a reporter in West Virginia at a family-owned station. So right after graduation, I had about a month to relax and be able to spend time with family before I was moving across country. And this was my first time moving far away from family. 45 minutes isn't that far from family, but 12 hours away from family is pretty far
Yes.
and long, but of course, it was definitely an amazing experience and it helped me grow. So once I started as a reporter, they saw my skills, saw how much the community loved me. A weekend anchor position came open and they put me on the desk, gave me the opportunity, saw how I was on the desk, how I commanded it, and was able to reach out to viewers and be able to do the fun stories as well as know when it was serious news on the desk. So a morning anchor position opened, and I was very grateful and lucky at such a young age, such early in my career, to be able to grab that spot on the morning anchor desk. I stayed there and did some different projects. And then an opportunity came up in Wichita Falls, Texas, as a morning and noon anchor. And of course, the biggest thing is I loved West Virginia, but I wanted to grow as an anchor and grow as a journalist. So I took that opportunity in Wichita Falls, Texas. Amazing 3 years there. I was able to actually start an initiative called Remarkable Women, which highlights women in our community who make a difference, who many people don't know about. They don't know about Sally, who's a teacher, but also on the sideline works for Meals on Wheels and helps out as well. So I was able to do that, many different projects. Viewers loved me, loved my personality, loved my smiling in the mornings, because waking up at 5 a.m. cannot be fun sometimes. So you have to bring that energy. And once 3 years came about, another opportunity here in Wilmington, North Carolina, where I am right now for evening anchor, opened up. And so, of course, I jumped at that opportunity because the biggest thing is growth. You always want to grow in your career, especially as a journalist. So I saw that come above and I was able to thankfully be offered and accepted the position. I've been here for about 3 weeks now, so it's still kind of new, but there's been so many amazing opportunities already available to me. I was able to do a cooking segment just last week, which was so much fun. And of course, if you love spicy chocolate mousse, definitely check out that cooking recipe. And then today I'm actually going to be interviewing a Netflix star. So it's definitely amazing to see from a graduate at Stetson University, a small university that many people don't know about in DeLand, Florida, to now being an evening news anchor, traffic anchor, as well as doing some social media work. It definitely goes a long way. So like you said, any prospective students or current students that are watching, definitely reach out and definitely push yourself, because like I always say, things happen for a reason.
100%. And one follow-up question I have there that I'm just curious about now. So when you talk about the move to West Virginia and then to Texas and now North Carolina. So in the field that you're in, how often do you see opportunities come up like that? And if they're few and far between, how important is it for you to sit down and really think about, okay, is it worth it? Is it worth it for me? Is this really going to help me grow? And do I need to take this now?
Absolutely. So I think it goes back to my motto that I live by every day is things happen for a reason. So there's a reason why those opportunities came above, why those news directors reached out and wanted to give me an opportunity. So the biggest thing is just kind of seeing what opportunity comes about and where life takes you, pretty much, because you just need to take life day by day. And that's the biggest thing that I live by as well.
Definitely. So now we'll kind of close it out with one of my favorite questions to ask when I do these. And you've given some great tips already and some great insight from your perspective. But if there are any Stetson students or even alumni watching this that might just want advice, and maybe it's not even in just the field that you're in, but life advice, or what kind of information and advice would you share with a student or a fellow alum or a friend, just about continuing to grow, taking those opportunities like you have? The motto you live by, you talked about that a little bit, but what would you share with somebody if they asked, how do I grow? How do I get the experience?
Absolutely. That is a great question. And I think for current students, I want to touch on that first. Reach out to someone. Reach out to someone you see at the Stetson community, whether it's an advisor, a professor, someone in the alumni department, anyone. Reach out to them and be able to ask them for help, because ultimately it goes a long way. You still keep in contact with those people. If you're in a sorority, fraternity, ask people, ask alumni. If there's people that you want to reach out to and say, hey, I saw you work in journalism, or I saw you work in a different career, I'm really interested. Can you help me out? Because once you're always a hatter, you're going to always be a hatter. So definitely reach out, use those skills, use those communication. And of course, reach out to anyone. That's the biggest thing I have to say is try to find someone and always have a goal set, but follow it as well. So if you want to be in journalism, if you want to be a news anchor, if you want to be an accountant, you want to be a lawyer, follow that. Never give up on your dreams. That's the biggest thing. From a young age, I always wanted to be a journalist, always knew what I wanted to be, and I've followed that dream and look how far I've come. So that's the biggest thing is just reach out and follow your dreams.
Love it. I love that advice. And so again, thank you for taking the time to do this with us today. This was fantastic. And I have to say, with how far you've traveled and all the things you've done already and how you talk about Stetson, you are a fantastic advocate for this university. And you are definitely someone who, shows exactly how powerful and how wonderful Stetson is. You have such a great heart and you care so much about not only what you do, but about Stetson and kind of remembering where you came from and the opportunities you had to grow while you were here. So it's fantastic to hear your story and a little more about you. If you're okay with it, I'd love to be able to share if anybody reaches out after seeing this and they'd like to connect with you. I'd love to be able to do that.
Absolutely. I would be more than happy to. I always love meeting new faces, new people, or even alumni that have graduated that may be older than me. I would love to keep in contact and be able to talk to them as well.
Awesome. Well, Daniella, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your story and for giving us a little insight into what you do. So this was a great Hatter highlight. And again, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me once again. And of course, before we end it, I have to say one final time, go Hatters.
Go Hatters. I can't wait until President Rolke hears this because he loves to end everything with go Hatters. So that's perfect.
There we go. Thank you so much again.